Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Talk of the Town. Tonight there are stories about the GATT Treaty. There are stories about O.J. There's a story about Heidi Fleiss and Faye Resnick. We're not going to cover any of those because we're able to bring you live tonight from the Moody Blues, Mike Pinder. We'll be right back.
Long Beach and the soul of Signal Hill, CVI presents Talk of the Town with your host, John Craig. And now, here's a guy who'd be proud to wear a wonder bra for Jenny Craig. Here's John.
Thank you very much. What does it say, applause on there? Is that what you're doing? That's our, oh, that's good. That's how everybody communicates here, a blank thing. Welcome to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very happy and pleased with us to have Mike Pinder. There I am. Thinks Snapple is a mousetrap. You see what they do to me. I am very pleased to present to you and to our studio audience who have come here at just no expense at all to be on this, be in this group. We're very pleased to have you here. Mike Pinder from the Moody Blues. And Mike, welcome to Talk of the Town and welcome to Long Beach.
Thank you, John. It's been a long time.
Have you been here before?
I've been to Long Beach before.
When?
Oh, many, many times over the years.
Now, did you guys ever play down here? Did you play anywhere around
Yes, we
here?
played the Long Beach Auditorium. What do you mean?
Yeah. You played down there? Big
Yeah.
crowds?
Yeah, and we also we went down to San Diego too, and lots of places like that. Yeah.
Lots of places like Long Beach.
Like Long Beach. Driving down here, though, I thought they'd maybe Lakeshore Boulevard, is it?
Shoreline and
Sure.
all that,
Yeah, I thought they'd maybe move them or something because I couldn't find them tonight.
Changed it a little bit.
That's right.
For those of you that do not know Mike Pinder and do not know the Moody Blues, shame on you, because when you grew up with music in the 60s, some of the great sounds, Nights in White Satin are the ones we want to show you before we get into talking to Mike some more. This is the new CD, and we're going to hold it up for you, that is now out and available, not yet. We're going to tell you how you can get hold of a copy of this. In fact, Mike is going to be autographing these at Pepperland in Tustin, 256 South Tustin? Orange. In Orange. That's right. You got to say Tustin Avenue in Orange, or people go Tustin looking for Orange Avenue. That will be Saturday at noon. He will be autographing them. He'll also be at the Westin Bonaventure. We'll have those times and addresses up for KLSX's Salute to Rock and Roll, and he will be there 11 to 1 on Sunday. This is, I hate to use the word comeback, but in a way it is, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
You had been out of music for how long?
It's about 16 years.
16 years.
Right.
There are people that have asked me, why did you stay out of music for 16 years?
So I could have 16 years in a family raising children.
It's hard. I don't think people can assume for a moment that rock stars, and you guys are rock stars, can fail away. They watch the Rolling Stones, who are 75, 78 years old now. Am I correct?
Something like that, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And they say, well, gee, that's the kind of life I want to lead, and I want that, and all the fans screaming, and you had that. I mean, it was perfect. And to say, no, I think I'm just going to go and raise a family and get out of this for a while. Unusual in your business, wouldn't you say, or was it?
Generally speaking, probably. But there are those, you know, who took the plunge.
Took the plunge and just said, chuck it. No.
Right.
At that time when you did say, I'm going to leave for a while, did you say in your head, maybe I'll come back if something changes, or I'll work on some stuff?
I never intended it to be a permanent situation. No, I mean, I always thought that something would come about where, you know, the time would be right when I would be able to re-enter and have some more fun with the music thing.
When you say fun, a lot of people may or may not know you were a big fan of the big band, Nat King Cole, jazz, right. And who were some of the others that you were?
Well, I was raised listening to Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, you know, all of that era of people. I'm the youngest of 4 children, so my sisters and my older brother were playing their favorite records. They were all born in the 30s, so you know, I was influenced very heavily by their music.
Did you ever try to play that music?
When I was first learning to play piano, yeah, I would play all of that old stuff. And in fact, I played stuff going back to World War I, because my dad was a piano player and mainly played in the English pubs, which is where I started when I was about 12 years old. And, you know, we would end up, I ended up playing things like Roll Out the Barrel and, all of the old songs, you know. What comes to mind? You name an old song and I probably
The good old
played it.
Summertime and...
Yeah, all of that kind of thing.
Wouldn't that have been a great CD to release? Mike Pinder brings you Roll Out the Barrel. Like a... Right. They're lining up now, I think, with an electric... Richard, how are you?
Fine, how you doing?
Did you start in pubs when you were 12 years old, too?
No, actually, I'm not too musically inclined. I was a big actor.
You were a big actor.
Yeah, not big like you. Big like well-known.
Oh, thank you, Richard. Do you
No,
have
actually, you're a fellow southpaw, so I actually like you a lot.
Well, thank you very much, and I like you, too. Get his name.
Okay, I got a question for Mike. Hey,
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, have you played for any other groups? And also, I noticed you guys don't play Go Now at many of your concerts, like on PBS, and that's one of my favorite songs. So is that like too rock for you? And also, if you ever opened for any big groups on the 60s, like the Stones, Beatles, Doors, or Animals?
Well, the last question was that, do I like?
Have you ever opened, the last question was, have you ever opened for any groups from the 60s, big groups like the Doors, the Animals, the Beatles?
The Beatles, I'll take the second question last. We did the last Beatles tour of England, just the Beatles and the Moody Blues. And we also did the last Cream tour in England. We opened along with the Stones in a few shows in London and got mobbed and the cars were turned over and all of that kind of stuff, you know. And the first question was Go Now. Since, you know, I haven't been playing with the band for about 16 years or so, well, actually 74, so 20 years.
Richard wasn't sure.
I believe
Thought
Paul
you'd
McCartney, Wings, was playing it because Denny Lane was in the Wings band, you know, for a while.
So you answered all
Before
of
the
his questions.
Japanese
yeah.
fiasco.
When you were talking about trying to find the right time to come back in and come in with this album, and we were talking upstairs a little bit too, that these are the songs that are kind of written for the group of people that you entertained. And now
Yes.
they're older, and their tastes have changed, and so you've come back in with this. And it's interesting to me that you've caught that just right, because they still like it. They still like all the songs. I mean, I can still hear Nights in White Satin and all the songs you guys did, and the Beatles song, and everybody. And it brings you back there. But I think it's nice to see someone who has done something like you've done with the Moody Blues and the hits and everything you had now come in and say, okay, here I am now. Is that pretty much the why you wrote this?
I think so. I mean, I wrote it because I have that need anyway to write. I think once you develop the ability to put your thoughts down on paper and in music, then it's something that never really leaves you, and it becomes an intimate part of your life. You know, because it's something that you've achieved and becomes part of your character or personality, if you like. For me, it was a case of still wanting to write every time I was moved by something, by some kind of experience. Then, you know, pen would go to paper, the piano fingers would go on the keyboard, on the guitar or something, and I would put it down, and eventually there was so much of it there that I had to go and record it in the early 80s.
So you recorded these in the 80s?
The original basic tracks were recorded early 80s, yes.
And they're in the closet?
And they were up on the shelf.
Up on the shelf?
Yeah, for all those years. And I took them down and,
What made you
shut
do
the
that?
dust
What
off
made
them.
you make that little trip over to the shelf and say, I think it's time for me to do it?
I felt like probably most people now that I watched this void develop through the 80s, a void in music. It was at the point where I would describe it that the record companies and the radio stations and, in other words, the giant conglomerates of the music industry had taken full control of what used to be an artistic creative endeavor by creative and artistic people, and they took that idea and then they repackage it and they repackage it and they bake different cakes with the same mixture, and they do it over and over and over again until it's just like a sausage machine, you know, where it's just coming out the other end, and everything sounds the same. Every act looks the same. Every group sounds the same.